rain or shine, come hot or cold, all across the land. Whatever else divides us, on one thing we're hand in hand. From Norfolk to Snowdonia, from Dawlish to Dundee, our differences set aside, united all are we. Our friends who live on distant shores may never empathise, and look on in confusion when they see us start to rise. For we'll all stand together, whatever people say, and complain about the weather every season, every day. At home, at work, attending school, or off on holiday, we'll complain whatever the weather, for it is the British way.
Whatto folks, Thomas Benjamin Wilde Esquire here with song number 23 of my Song a Week project. Although technically this week it's not part of the Song a Week project. This is the song that I have written previously, which is going to be featured on my new album. I started recording the new album last year, very close to finishing it now. The Song a Week project, if I'm honest, started taking off quite a bit and has interrupted that somewhat. So I decided to try and kill two birds with one stone, really. And over the next few weeks, rather than songs that I've written very recently, they're going to be songs that I have already recorded for the most part as part of the new album. So that's what you're going to hear over the next few weeks. This song was an attempt at writing a unifying national anthem, or kind of anthem for the people of Great Britain, which isn't about an unelected figurehead, and which perhaps brings us all together on an issue I think we can all agree with, which is complaining about the weather. It's something we do as British people, and it was inspired actually by when I'd written It's Too Bloody Hot, the reactions from people around the world about British people complaining about the weather, regardless of what that weather is. We like it mild, we like it fair to middling. Any extremes really do affect us over here. We're not used to it. So it was inspired by that. This is going to be a little bit of a quicker video this week because I am actually in the middle of preparations for probably my busiest weekend of the year. I've got Asylum in Lincoln tomorrow. It's Thursday when I'm recording this. I've got Asylum in Lincoln tomorrow, 2 sets there, and then 3 sets at Twinwood Festival across the weekend as well, which is going to be great fun. But it does mean I'm having to pack up various equipment, outfit changes, and merchandise, which I've been doing today. You can't see to the sides of me here. There's various clothes and boxes full of bits and pieces that I'm going to be taking with me this weekend. So yes, I'm going to edit this very, very quickly. So it's going to be a bit of a shortened video this week. Lots and lots of lovely comments from you this week. I'm not going to focus on too many of them, but there are lots of people identifying with last week's video, which was it all might go away, which was about that feeling and that sense that when things are going well, they're not going to last. So thanks for all the lovely comments in relation to that. A couple of questions. First one's from James Wright 4322. Have you ever seen anything out in the audience while playing live that made you simply burst out laughing? If not, then what's the strangest thing you've seen out in the audience while playing? It's quite a difficult one for me because I do a lot of steampunk events, and there's always some interesting stuff going on in the audience. I'm often distracted by the amazing outfits that people are wearing out there. One of my absolute favourites was when I was at the Discworld convention, which is a Terry Pratchett Discworld convention. Where people were dressed up. Apparently I was told my fans and fans of Terry Pratchett cross over quite nicely, which I was quite pleased with. But there were some absolutely amazing outfits out of that, and that was a couple of years ago. And there was one chap who had knitted his whole outfit for that, and it was fantastic. And I have to say that kind of distracted me in the audience. In fact, one of my favourite moments was down in Brighton last year, where Mark, if you're watching, I heard Mark singing along to the lyrics of all the songs because he knew all of the words. And I thought it was a strange echo. I thought something was going on with the microphone. And I stopped singing for a second and realised, no, it was just someone who knew all of the words, which was actually fantastic. So, Mark, thank you very much for that. Baron O'Corey asks, if you're comfortable with it, may I ask if you've ever had any mental health struggles? That's a really good question. I mean, I have. I've never taken medication for anything mental health related. I've had periods of depression, but never anything that's been diagnosed. So I wouldn't like to pretend that I have had massive struggles with mental health. But definitely I have had moments where that has probably been the case. And I've also been around and know lots of people that do have and do struggle with mental health issues as well. And I worked in mental health services for quite a while. So that's an excellent question and definitely relates back to the last song that I posted. So yes, I've had periods of time where I've struggled with mental health. But as I say, I've managed to get through it. I've never taken medication for it. But that's a really good question. Patrick Hannon 4217 says that they're a performer of Irish folk songs mostly, as a hobby busker, gigging occasionally. But even after 10 years, I still struggle introducing the songs I sing at a gig without getting a bit nervous. I can perform very easily, but I'm not a natural speaker. Do you have any tips or advice barring the obvious practice? The only tips and advice I can really give is, practice. Think about what you're going to say before the songs. I've got a general idea. I'm quite lucky because I studied theatre and have a background in teaching. And when you've taught 16-year-olds, there really is no shyness that you can have without getting ripped apart. So practice it. Think about what you're going to say, but don't over-practice what you're going to say, because actually then if you stumble over your words, that makes it worse. So just know generally what you want to say about something, and things will come out. And just imagine you're talking to somebody. I struggle to come up with what to say in these videos. You'll notice the cuts and the various points in the video where I've cut stuff out. Generally, that's where I'm umming and ahhing and rambling on or stumbling over words. So it's not just you. Plan what you're going to say. Don't overplan it, though. So just a quick reminder of where I'm going to be for shows over the next month or so. On the 29th of August, I'm going to be at the Lamb in Surbiton. It's a free show, so if you're around that area, do come along and say hello. On the 13th of September, that's Friday the 13th of September, I'm going to be at the Big Theatre in Biggleswade with my band, the Fancy Chaps. And then on the 21st of September, that's a Saturday, I'll be at the Pump in Trowbridge, again with the Fancy Chaps and the Devil's Doorbell. So if you are around for any of those shows, it'd be absolutely lovely to see you there. If you want to see these videos before anybody else and get MP3 downloads of them, as well as the demo tracks for all the songs from the new album, then you can join my Patreon community for as little as £3 a month, where you can get all kinds of exclusive stuff. The link for that is in the description below the video. Keep the comments and the questions coming. It makes what I'm talking about far more interesting than me just rambling on. Until next time, stay safe and toodle pip.